We're so happy to have Mr. Ed Rumley covering the event, as well as Dan Connors from WNBC and our good friends at WPIX Channel 11. This was a sound check done in their honor.
Mr. Mayor, you feeling much better? Yeah, we gotta talk about next year, man, so we can get going early. All right. What's up, Madam Attorney? Doing much better, much better, much better.
Okay, as people are making their way to their seats, can I ask those of you who are seated to please rise?
Okay.
And please take a moment to greet the person to your right.
Okay, Commissioner.
And please take a moment to greet the person to your left.
Councilwoman.
If there's somebody behind you, greet them. If there's somebody in front of you, greet them. And I invite you all now to take your right hand and place it over your heart.
Right.
And let us affirm to ourselves and to one another of the nation that we truly are. I pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Just a couple, okay, please be seated. Just a couple of housekeeping items. All right, as Superintendent Schaefer is very, very fond of saying, everything data will be our guide and safety will be our priority, which is why we do appreciate you all being socially distant and keeping your mask on for the duration of the program. If you do need to use a restroom, simply go through that door, and there are some security people at the stand there. If there's nobody there, in the rare event that somebody is there helping somebody else, just simply make a right. You'll find restrooms in the hallway there. And finally, at the end of the program, we invite you all to enjoy some of the refreshments over under the tent over there. We ask that you don't congregate very long for the sake of keeping things safe. This is a great day in the city of Patterson. It's a great era that has begun in Paterson Public Schools. And without further ado, I'd like to invite to the podium our Superintendent of Schools, Eileen F. Shafer.
Right.
Thank you, Paul. Welcome, Patterson. 30 years later. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And welcome to Paterson Public Schools, brought to you by and governed by the Board of Education, elected by the people of Patterson. Nearly 30 years went by without anyone being able to say that. But a week ago today, the voices of the people of Patterson were restored to their full strength in the decisions about how this city's children are educated. A long time coming. It is so good to see all of you, past board members, state leaders, city leaders, officials, and staff. While we eagerly take on full responsibility of shaping Patterson's future, we know that it didn't just happen. This was an achievement that was earned through a tremendous amount of work over a long period of time by a great number of individuals. And every one of you that is here right now played a part. That is why we call this event this morning the shoulders upon which we stand. As I am in my 30th year working in Paterson Public Schools, I have firsthand knowledge of the many people who were part of this long road that led to local control finally being returned to the people of Patterson. And I know that many of you were along that journey with me. That is why I am grateful to the many parents, the teachers, the principals, the vice principals, supervisors, administrators, counselors, nurses, secretaries, paraprofessionals, food service professionals, facility staff, our custodians, our child study team members, and all school and district employees. But throughout the 30 years of state control, the Paterson Board of Education has been a steady presence, thanks to the leadership of many people who have given their time, talents to serve as commissioners. I want to give a special thanks to all of the past board members of education. And I'm going to ask them to please stand. I mean, there are so many people here that bring back so many great memories for me, and I do know they do for everybody else. But past board members, please stand.
Awesome.
And I'm going to ask that our current board members please stand. Now, those two groups, that's the A team. And that's how we got here today. My special thanks to those who are not with us, Dr. Joseph Atalo, my good friends, Dr. Jesse Dixon, and Al Moody, who is ill at this time, but sends his congratulations to all. All of you helped advance the district down a very long path, and thank you for all that you have done. You have represented the collective will of the community to Trenton, always reminding those in state government that the students of Patterson matter, that their futures are equal to those of any other school district. Since the pivotal day of May 2nd, 2018, that put the district on a 2-year transition to local control. And I want to recognize the board leadership during that 2-year transition. Board President Kenneth Dale Simmons, where are you, Kenny?
All right.
Board Vice President Manuel Martinez. Manny.
Indeed. Yes, sir.
And former Board President Oshin Castillo Cruz.
Yes, indeed.
And former Vice President Nikema Redmond. As the first woman to be appointed Patterson Superintendent of Schools, having the opportunity to begin the transition to local control with the first Patterson School Board to be led by 2 women, speaks to how the district ideas have changed during the past 30 years regarding leadership. And our leadership today of the Board of Education reflects the diversity of the community. We have been blessed to have strong advocates for Paterson Public Schools at every level in government. I want to thank Congressman Bill Pascrell, Governor Murphy, Dr. Lamont Repollet, Dr. Angelica Allen-McMillan, the new Commissioner of Education, our Senator Nellie Poe, who's with us today. Nellie, please stand.
Okay.
Our State Assemblywoman, Shavonda Sumter, our State Assemblyman, Mr. Benji Wimberly, and Patterson Mayor, Andre Sayre. Andre, please stand. For your support of the public schools and restoring local control to the district. We are also fortunate to have the benefit of 3 highly skilled professionals who guided us through the 2-year transition plan. Theodore Best also serves as Passaic County Commissioner. I don't know if TJ is here. All right. And 2 other HSPs that worked along with TJ, Dr. Stephen Cowan and Dr. Alexis Colander. One thing I've learned as the superintendent of schools is that the district cannot succeed alone. I want to recognize and thank the leaders of community organizations who are aligned in our mission to serve Patterson students and families. Rosie Grant, Executive Director of Patterson Education Fund.
Indeed, indeed.
Bob Garacci, New Jersey Community Development Corporation. Richard Williams, St. Paul's Community Development Corporation. Denise Haggard, Health and Wellness. Oasis, a haven for women and children. And of course our partners at Passaic County Community College, William Patterson University, Fairleigh Dickinson University, Pillar College, Seton Hall University, Montclair State University, and of course all the pastors in Patterson, Reverend Dr. Randall Lassiter, I just know he's here, Reverend Kenneth Clayton and NAACP, Reverend Michael McDuffie,
Yes, sir.
and there are many others. Our shared mission of developing the minds and possibilities of Patterson youth is easier to achieve when we all work together. You all have my gratitude, my thanks for the incredible services that you all provide. To the district parents, Nyah Mathis, President of the District PTO, Nyah is here. Know that without you, none of this would have been possible. I cannot thank you enough for your participation, your insight, patience in helping us with your children. And I want to recognize the newly elected PTO organization and the president and the vice president, Mr. Sorino, and again, Nyah Matthews, who's going to lead us as we move into local control. Your partnership with administrators and educators will be more strongly felt than at any other time in recent memory. And I think everyone knows when I became superintendent, one of my goals was to increase parent involvement. And so we are going to continue to work on that as we have our parent voices heard through local control. And finally, I want to acknowledge the hard work of the students. You're just as part of the restoration of local control than anyone else mentioned. Thank you for taking the pride in your education, your schools, your community, and your future. I also want to thank my cabinet, who have been working with me side by side endlessly in order to bring this to fruition. Like so many achievements in education, the return of local control to Paterson Public Schools is both an ending and a beginning. So let us all be proud of what we have accomplished and look forward to the many heights we will reach in the future. Thank you all. Thank you to all the people who have come back to the district today to celebrate the beginning of this new era in the district history. And thank you, Patterson, for giving me the opportunity to be the superintendent at this exciting, momentous event. God bless each and every one of you. Again, thank you for helping us get to this day, and please be safe.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Superintendent Schaefer. The Board of Commissioners work by the ethic of working as a team, and today is no exception. I'd like to invite to the podium Board of Education President Kenneth L. Simmons and Vice President Manuel Martinez Jr.
All right. Yeah.
Good evening. Oh, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so used to board meetings and saying good evening.
Right.
I had a long, drawn-out speech, but I'm not going to read that. I just want to get to the fact that it's been 30 years, and 30 years is a long time for the parents and the citizens of Patterson not to have any say in the decisions made about our children's education. And so on today, I'm so excited, and I was actually more excited last week when we were at the state board meeting or attending the state virtual meeting where they actually took the vote to give us back control. It's been a long time, and for myself and for Manny, we stand on the shoulders of so many. That's why it was so important to make sure that former board members were here. We've done so much work in the past, and that work helped us get across the goal line, get across the finish line. And so I'm not going to ask you to stand again, but I thank all of you for coming out. I thank all of you for the work that you've done over these past 30 years to get us to where we are today.
Thank you, Kenny. Again, not to belabor the point, thank you all for being here today and welcome to Patterson. This is really a monumentous event, and we are here to celebrate it and to celebrate, more importantly, our young people. All the work that we do as board commissioners and city advocates and everything is all based on providing the best opportunities that we can for our young people to ensure a better tomorrow for them, for us, and for our city. And that's why we do what we do. So to everyone who played a part in this, we thank you, we salute you. We've come a long way, but we also recognize there is a long way to go. And we will continue to work tirelessly to make sure that our students get the best opportunities that we can possibly offer them for the betterment of our city and, more importantly, for the betterment of themselves. Thank you all for being here today. God bless you all, and God bless the city of Patterson.
Indeed.
Thank you very much, President Simmons and Vice President Martinez. Our Congressman Bill Pascrell, former Board of Education President, former mayor, is doing the people's work down in Washington today. But he did send a representative, I believe. Stephen Ty, are you here? Stephen must be getting his vaccine today, I think. We've grown to rely on strong advocates, not only Washington, but in Trenton. And one of our strongest advocates is our state senator, Senator Nellie Pope.
Yes, indeed. Without question.
Thank you so very much, Paul. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mayor Saya, Superintendent Shafer, Assistant Superintendent Susanna Perrone, School Board President Simmons, and all the distinguished dignitaries and school officials that have gathered here today. As one who has had the privilege to work alongside so many people from all corners of Patterson over the years, I am truly honored to be here on this very historic day. And as we mark the beginning of a new era, to see us reach this long-awaited moment where our city will once again be front and center in the education of its own children is no doubt one of the highlights of 2021. I would like to personally thank all of the advocates, the administrators, past and present school board members, teachers, countless thousands of caring parents who held the rope and who did not lose hope during these last several years. This is a grand moment for our school and for the city itself. Let us use it as a starting point, a springboard, a chance to renew our commitment and reinvigorate the mission to inspire our students and set them on a course where their boldest dreams may be realized. There are so many people to thank, but I would like to begin by thanking our current superintendent, Eileen Shafer, who has worked diligently during, yes, that deserves a round of applause, who has worked diligently during her many years of service in this school district and who has remained committed to the belief that Patterson School students matter. There are many unsung heroes that have advocated tirelessly for Patterson over the years. Too many to mention, but you all know who you are. And we are grateful to your commitment and your steadfast dedication. Yes, 30 years is a long time. And I too, as President Simmons just said, was on that call last week for the state school board meeting. And I made mention of the fact that 30 years is enough. So today, however, represents the future, a day of hope, a day of great expectation, a day where we celebrate our well-earned independence for Patterson schools, its students, its teachers, its principals, its administrators, and we who believe in the hopes and dreams for a better Patterson and hold out a high aspiration for our children have worked long and hard to come out of under state control. We believe those who know Patterson best, including local residents, parents, school administrators, and taxpayers, know what's best for our schools. During these trying times, amid uncertain schedules, I say to our students, continue to learn, to dare to dream, to reach for the stars, to be the best that you can be. More than ever, your community is behind you. Thank you. God bless you all. And thank you very much. And let me just say congratulations to all City Patterson residents. Thank you.
All right.
I'm sorry, I do want to make mention that I bring warm regards from my colleagues, both Assemblyman Benji Wimberly and Shavonda Sumter. They're both in right now at an Assembly Committee meeting, which is the only reason they are not here today. Otherwise, they would not have missed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Poe. At this time, I'd like to invite Commissioner Vince Arrington to the podium to deliver some remarks from Assemblyman Benji Wimberly.
All right.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Superintendent Schaefer, Board President Kenneth Simmons, fellow board members, dignitaries, district personnel, students, and guests. Unfortunately, due to an Assembly Housing Committee at the same time, Assemblyman Benji Wimberly is unable to be with us today, but asked me to read this statement for him. The Paterson Public School District has been under state control since 1991, and then in May 2nd, 2018, New Jersey Board of Education approved a resolution to put the district on a path to local control. Well, that day is here. Serving as an employee for the Paterson Public School District for 32 years has allowed me to see firsthand the many challenges, setbacks, and achievement the district has embraced over the years. It was Dr. Frank Napier's vision to hire Joe Lewis Clark as a principal for Eastside High School that sparked the spirit of what being an educator is all about, the students. The late Joe Clark never gave up on students. He saw the potential in Patterson students. His spirit is still alive today in our school district, not just at Eastside High School, but in all our schools. We have educators who are working, fighting day in and day out to reach our youth, nurture their quest for learning, and prepare them for success because they see their potential. The Paterson Public Schools have gone from being a failing district to being on the right track for academic achievement and breakthroughs for students. With the current pandemic, the Paterson Public School District has addressed food insecurities, and the digital divide within our community. Our students are now going to top-tier colleges and universities. Our graduation rates have gone up in our schools, and our test scores have risen. The success stories have gone beyond test scores. Is our educators and pillars like Dr. Frank Napier, Joe Clark, Congressman Bill Pasquale, Margarita Gass, Alonzo Moody, Sharon Smith, and Ada Downing that influenced the current generation of leaders and educators like Passaic County Commissioner Theodore T.J. Best, Patterson Councilman Flavia Riviera, former Board of Education Commissioner, County Superintendent, and now Superintendent of Teaneck Public Schools, Dr. Christopher Irving, Patterson Board Education Commissioner Kenny Simmons, Patterson Board Education Commissioner and Director of Patterson Health Department, Rasheen Castillo-Cruz. To name a few, all our leaders and educators have previously or currently serving in the Patterson community and influencing our students the same way they have influenced by educators and leaders that have come before them. At this time, it costs $18,000 per student a year to educate them, but it costs $61,000 to the cost rate. We have to invest in our students and make sure that $18,000 is a pipeline for success and not a pipeline for This is well-deserved victory for our students and much work well done. Hope over despair. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner Arrington. It's been something I've seen time and time again during my days in Patterson that, people like to bet against Patterson and Patterson proves them wrong every time. Success gets visualized and then achieved over and over again. We've seen it in the return of local control in the school system, and we've seen it in City Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Andre Saya.
During this pandemic, we've had very little to celebrate, but at least today we can celebrate success. And it's not only the success of everyone that's played a part in achieving this milestone, it's about the success of 29,000 students. Because for anyone who's ever walked into this building or for anyone who's served on the school board, Our goal is academic achievement, to see our students succeed. And today, because of our efforts, we can celebrate success in what we can call our Independence Day. January 6th is the equivalent of July 4th for the school district. Because what does independence mean? It means self-determination. Whereas there's no more bureaucracy with the decision-making process, people in Patterson will determine the fate of all the students in all of our schools. And as a proud parent of public school students, my wife and I express our gratitude to Superintendent Shafer and her team, because ultimately it wasn't about one man or one woman. It was a total team effort. 3 decades in the making. In fact, if I can acknowledge her, Anne Marie Van Cherry was on the school board at the time when, and her husband were on the school board at the time when it was voted to turn control over. And I'm glad that she can join us today as we celebrate the fact that ultimately we will be making our own decisions. For Errol Carr and Willem A. Taylor and all the school board members that served when I was on the board, we remember that we focused on one of the criterion within NJQSAC, and that was governance. Because at that time we had to get it together. Glad we did, along with Dr. Hodges, who still is on the school board and probably will be on the school board for the next 100 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Pattersonians, fellow parents, fellow advocates, today, in a time of crisis, we'll raise our hands and celebrate a victory. A victory ultimately for the 29,000 children in our school district. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Mayor Saya. And successes like these are built upon the ethic of putting the community first. Our next speaker is the embodiment of somebody who always puts the community first. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you the State County Commissioner and one of our highly skilled professionals, Mr. Theodore T.J. Best.
Right.
Good afternoon, Patterson. This is a great day, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes,
I just wanted to say that in the last 30 years, I've wore, just like many of you, many hats in the city of Patterson. I was a student in the district. I was an educator in the district. I was a Board of Education member like all of you sitting in front of me. I was an administrator in central office, and over the course of the last 2 years, a highly skilled professional working on behalf of the New Jersey Department of Education, overseeing this transition process. And when I tell you that this was not something that was given to Patterson for any political reason, it was something that was earned from the current Board of Education, previous Board of Education, current administrators, previous administrators, and most importantly, our educators and students. This was not given, this was won, and this was earned by the people who work in this district each and every day.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Over the course of the last 2 years, I've had a chance to work side by side of our superintendent, her entire administrative staff, and the Board of Education. We worked on policies, we worked on budget, we worked on improving the curriculum and improving our student achievement. And the fact that Patterson was able to accomplish this in spite of going through a pandemic, something that could not be perceived by anyone. And despite all of that, Patterson still made each and every mark that was put in front of them. They accomplished each and every task that was asked of them. They accomplished all of this and still was able to provide a high quality education for all of the 29,000 students in the district. This is unprecedented in the state of New Jersey, probably unprecedented in the entire country. And I just wanted to personally commend the entire administrative staff, Eileen, Shafer, your team, Kenny Simmons, his fellow board members for the outstanding work they did. I was a board member. I know how hard we fought when I was on the board to work with the state on QSAC, trying to get those scores up. And when the district finally got those scores up and the transition process started, I was in the room when the administration negotiated with the state what the measurements was going to be. We all have experience before where the goalpost has constantly been moved for Patterson. We thought that it would be one thing, and next thing you know, the goalpost got moved. We thought it'd be something else, and the goalpost got moved again. There's no more goalposts.
That's right.
This administration and this board kicked the goalpost down. They ran off the field. They spiked the ball, ran off the field, and it is now an even playing field where our kids and our teachers are going to have the same chance to succeed as anyone else in the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
It's truly an unprecedented time for Patterson. It's something that was earned. It was something that people fought for and worked for, but now a real task is ahead of us. We are facing a very tough budget in the district. We are facing trying to come back from this pandemic stronger than we were when we went into it. We have students who've experienced over a year of learning loss by not being able to be in the classroom because our facilities aren't where they are. So for anybody who thinks that the fight is over, I'm here to tell you that we still have a lot to work on.
That's right.
We still need quality buildings in our district. We still need to have high quality educators. And it's now the time that we have to put the board members in place to work alongside of our administration to accomplish all those things for our families and for our children, which we know they deserve. So let's celebrate this wonderful accomplishment. Let's be happy for the work we did, but know that the fight is still ahead of us and we have a lot more to do. Thank you, Patterson.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner Best. And it is important to recognize that the return of local control is less of an ending, more of a beginning. Thank you. No great accomplishments are achieved alone. It takes partnership, it takes friendship, it takes people working alongside you. One of the greatest partners of the Paterson Public School District is the Patterson Education Fund, led by our next speaker, Executive Director Rosie Grant.
All right.
Good afternoon, elected officials, Madam Superintendent, members of the Cabinet, and the community. What an awesome celebration today. Congratulations. It's wonderful to be celebrating Patterson's return to local control after almost 30 years of state takeover. Congrats to all the current and past school board members, administrators, educators, staff, student, parents, community, elected officials, advocates, activists, and anyone who played any part in making this happen. My thanks to Governor Murphy. We had one governor who, when we met the scores, said, "Not over my dead body." It was in the control ultimately of the governor, the New Jersey State Board of Education, the Education Commissioner. Special thanks to you, Ms. Schaefer, who spent most of your tenure as superintendent, if not all of it, to date, leading the district to this very moment. It's a great occurrence for the children of Patterson, and no one knows a community's needs better than the people who live and work in that community. Difficult to figure out those needs from Trenton, so this is great for this community. We've had 7 state superintendents, 14 commissioners of education, 6 governors, each with different expectations under state control. And I do have a chart that I can share with people. PEF has been monitoring state takeover and advocating for the return of local control since the beginning. I checked my calendar and I logged 280 trips to Trenton, to State Board of Education meetings, and another 136 to legislative hearings and budget hearings and joint committee hearings and meetings and so on. That's only my time. Kudos to my predecessor, Irene Sterling, past president of Patterson Education Fund, who got this work started, and to all the parents and community members and staff that also made those trips. We've invested a lot of money, a lot of resource, a lot of effort from the school district and from the community to get us to this point. Let's be clear, it's been said before, even as we celebrate this milestone, our work is not done, and neither is the state's. We have to continue to advocate for adequate resources for a thorough and efficient education for Patterson's children. We have to make sure that the policies and programs that are implemented locally benefit our children and lead to better outcomes. This is the beginning of a new and wonderful chapter for our children, but it's up to us to make it wonderful. Let's work together to ensure that Patterson children have every opportunity to thrive. Please, everyone, everywhere, join in the celebration, and congratulations to the entire Patterson community, and here's to a better tomorrow for our children at our schools. Thank you.
All right.
A great component of educating thousands of children is keeping in touch with thousands of parents. That's why at this time I'd like to welcome to the podium the newly elected president of the parent-teacher organizations, Nyah Mathis.
All right. All right, now.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Board President, Mr. Simmons, current and former school board commissioners, Superintendent of Schools, Ms. Shafer, and her cabinet. In their absence, Congressman Pasquarel, Assemblyman Mr. Wembley, Assemblywoman Mrs. Sumter, Senator Nellie Poe, Mayor Andre Sayer, City Council members, and all assembled here this afternoon. I bring you greetings on behalf of the parents representing the 23,000 plus students of the Paterson Public School system. This is a momentous occasion. After 30 years of state control, through hard work and determination by many, we now have achieved and regained full control of our Patterson school system. We thank everyone that assisted in the 2-year transition plan put before you, along with the countless time and effort it must have taken to accomplish this during a pandemic. But there is still work to be done. Over the course of 3 decades of takeover, the state has failed our children, but we have continued to persevere, making strides in academic achievement. We, the parents and community stakeholders, are now tasked with the responsibility to our students to work together to move our district forward. Our superintendent has a saying, "Together we can." This holds especially true today as our world is met with so many challenges and is in need of so many changes. If we join together and support each other, we can make it through. On behalf of Paterson Public Schools parents, I thank everyone that has been a part of the work that has brought us to this moment. I encourage everyone to join with us as we strive to take our children to higher heights. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Mathis.
All right.
So thank you all for coming today. This concludes our speaking program. Please do, I want to remind you, we do have refreshments available for everybody under the tent. Members of the media, you are not taken for granted. Thank you for covering the news of our community. Thank you all for taking time on your busy days for being here.